week long through Sunday, you guys can actually get 30% off your entire G Fuel order simply by using code IMMORTAL at checkout. So if you are looking to snag anything at all from the G Fuel website, definitely take advantage of the discount boost and throw in my code to save yourself some money. It finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. It finally happened. We've been waiting for months on end now to finally get a glimpse of Call of Duty Modern Warfare multiplayer, and today we got just that. Out of the blue yesterday, Infinity Ward announced that today, July 11th, we'd be getting our worldwide reveal of Modern Warfare multiplayer gameplay via some live streams held by Courage, Syndicate, Legion, and TP. And good grief, does this game look incredible. We didn't get to see the standard multiplayer reveal trailer like what we have seen in the past, but this time around instead, Infinity Ward jumped the gun completely and went right for some raw multiplayer gameplay, showing off a brand new mode available in Modern Warfare dubbed Gunfights. If you guys remember Face Off from Modern Warfare 3, Gunfight will seem pretty familiar as it is a 2v2 fight to the death, and because of this little gameplay reveal, we've got a lot to discuss here today as we break down some Modern Warfare multiplayer gameplay for the first time ever. What is up, guys? Zach or Immortal here. Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thanks for stopping by. If you guys are new here, it is officially Modern Warfare time. The multiplayer reveal is right around the corner. We've got gameplay of it now. The coming days, weeks, and months are going to be incredibly fun and exciting. So, if you guys are new here, you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when a new video goes live. And of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, or if you're just excited for some Modern Warfare multiplayer, let me know. Drop a like, it would be much appreciated, and of course, it does really help the channel out. And now let's get into Modern Warfare multiplayer. Let's break down what we saw today. Pretty much what I've got here in front of me is a list of notes. This was like high school chemistry all over again.
I was taking notes on everything, all right, ladies and gentlemen?
I've got a whole notepad full of stuff that we got to talk about. So first and foremost, this gameplay reveal was not the only major thing we saw today. We actually got official confirmation that on August 1st, 2019, we are going to get the official worldwide multiplayer reveal in which we're going to see a trailer gameplay. We're going to get even more information about the mode. Everything multiplayer related is going to be revealed on August 1st. So you guys already know we're going to be covering all of that stuff when it does go down here in just a couple of weeks. Now, I also want to mention before we get into anything else, the gameplay that you guys are seeing in the background today is taken directly from TP's stream. Courage, TP, Syndicate, and Legion were all streaming the game, as I said in the intro. So I figured it'd be cool to actually take some gameplay from that and actually show it to you guys so you guys can sort of get the gist of everything we are talking about here today. So with that said, I will link TP's Twitch down in the description below. If you guys want to go and check that out, by all means, feel free to do so. That'll be in the background. Obviously, we're going to have some face cam here and there as well. So let's just get into it. So right off the bat, the main showcase of this entire stream was the brand new Gunfight game mode, which is a 2v2 competitive mode. It's not like TDM. It's not like anything else we've really ever seen before. It's 2v2 with an interesting twist on it. So there's 3 maps all designed completely for the Gunfight mode. One is going to be Kill House, or as it's known in game is King, but it is Kill House from COD 4. Another one is going to be Pine. It takes place in a dense forest. And another one is going to be Stack. It takes place in a desert container yard. Now, what's very interesting about this 2v2 gunfight mode is that there are no created class slots available. You have all of these predetermined classes that have a handful of varying weapons. We'll talk about those in just a minute. And basically, it is a competitive mode. You play up to best of 11. So the first 1 to 6 rounds is the winner of the game. However, the gameplay that you guys are seeing in the background, they actually played up to first to 10 wins, I believe. So they were playing some extra gameplay just to show it off. That is what it is there, though. Now, in each round, you actually have 40 seconds to win the rounds. If there is no winner after the 40 seconds, you then have an overtime round in which you can either try to eliminate your opponents once again, or you can defend a flag in the very center of the map for a total of 3 seconds, and that'll grant you a win. But if at that point, when that extra overtime time ends up running out and no one has still won the round, then and only then is the team with the most health left dubbed the winner, which I actually think is a pretty cool twist. And speaking of health, players actually do have 100 health each for a total of 200 team health, and it's pretty interesting. At the very top of the screen, you can actually see your team's health, so you know who exactly is going to win if that time runs out. So if you know that you have less health than your opponents and time is running out, you're going to have to make that decision. You know, do I want to try and get this elimination even though they have more health than me, or do I want to push for that flag and try and capture it then? Because if you don't do either of those, you are going to lose the round if you have less health. Now, another thing that is super interesting about this mode, I don't know if it's going to be this mode in specific that has this feature or if it's going to be all of multiplayer, but there is no minimap whatsoever. I don't know about you guys, but when I play Call of Duty, I rely very, very heavily on the minimap, especially in a game like Black Ops 4, where we do have the Fog of War feature. I am constantly looking at the minimap because you can see those red dots ping here and there. You know where enemies are going to be. Things like UAVs are incredibly helpful. Obviously, in BO4, you have things like the sensor dart as well, but the UAV, the minimap in general, all of that stuff is incredibly helpful. Now, I'm sure we're going to have some sort of streak like a UAV in Modern Warfare, but right off the bat, having no minimap whatsoever is a huge game changer, especially in like my case where, like I said, I look at the minimap constantly. So that is a very interesting thing to note as well. But now let's focus up on the weapons. There's a lot that I have written down here, so I'm just going to run through the list that I wrote down. These are all the weapons and equipment that we saw debuted in this little gameplay reveal. First off, we've got the FR556 Burst AR, and it's basically going to be a remake of the FAMAS, so you guys who liked that back in MW2, you're going to have it once again here in MW. We've also got the MP7 SMG. I don't know about you guys, but the MW3 MP7, by far one of my favorite weapons in Call of Duty history, that is back as well. We've also got the Model 680 shotgun, the MP5 SMG, the RPG explosive launcher, the M19 pistol, the AX50 sniper, the M91 LMG, the 725 shotty, the Desert Eagle pistol, which there's a little asterisk here. You can actually throw a scope on your Desert Eagle in this game. That I think is pretty cool. That's going to make for some very interesting gameplay clips there. We've then also got the L86 light machine gun, the AUG rifle, the M4A1 rifle, and the M14 rifle. And one thing in particular that I did notice when I was watching this gameplay is whenever they had a sniper out, like for instance the AX50, the sniping felt like it was a lot like Call of Duty Ghosts back in the day, where when you actually ADS with your sniper, your peripheral vision actually becomes blurred, but it's still visible. Like you can see things going on off to the side of the scope, but obviously they're in the center of the scope. It's clear, it's zoomed in, it's all of that stuff that you would expect from a sniper, but it definitely does remind me of COD Ghosts a lot there, which, I don't know, it's interesting. It's definitely going to take some getting used to again. Sniping really isn't a main thing for me anyway, so this personally is not something that's going to be super impactful, I would say, but for you snipers out there, this could be a little bit game changing. And one thing that you guys will notice all throughout the gameplay, doesn't matter what weapon you have, the movement, the ADS, everything about how the game flows in general is very different. And we'll discuss this more as the video goes on. But continuing on with the equipment, we've also got things like the Semtex grenade, the stun grenade as a tactical, the Molotov, the throwing knife, the frag, the Claymore. Get this, the Bouncing Betty. I can only imagine if there is a nuke in this game, I will die off of it because of the Bouncing Betty. By far one of my least favorite things about MW3. It is back here in MW. It is what it is. I'm sure I'll get used to it. I'm sure I'll die to it a handful of times, but I mean, it's a new game. I'm not really complaining about anything. I'm excited to see everything here, but we then also have the Flash Grenade Tactical, and then lastly, the Stim Tactical, which is interesting because at first I saw this on the class setup and I was like, oh snap, you know, manual healing is back. Personally, I don't know about you guys, but I really do like manual healing here in BO4. I feel like it really speeds up the overall flow of the game. You don't have to wait constantly to regen if you even take a couple of shots. You know, back in like MW3, BO2, the older Call of Duties without manual healing, if you got shot, you effectively had to take yourself out of the game entirely just so you could heal up and then push a gunfight again. In BO4, you get shot, you turn a corner, you stim shot up, you're right back in the fight immediately. The game flows much faster. It's overall just much quicker, much faster paced. Here in MW though, stim shot manual healing, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be a thing across all modes because it is an equipment that is available on your class setup. And like I said, these are default class setups. These are predetermined and pre-made class setups here in the gunfight mode where the stim is available only on that class. If you're not using stim shot or whatever it's actually called, I don't know if it's just stim or if it's stim shot officially, but if you're not using the stim tactical ability or item, you're not going to be able to heal whatsoever. There is no healing in the gunfight mode, which is why that health at the end of the round, especially in overtime, is so important. So for now, I guess manual healing, we're going to have to put a big question mark on because I'm not really sure if we're going to have it in the game. Personally, I hope we do. If not, I mean, I'm sure I'll adjust. I'm sure everyone will adjust, but I, for one, do really enjoy manual healing. I hope it comes back, but at the very least, we do have the stim tactical ability. On top of that, another brand new thing that was added into Modern Warfare that was showcased throughout the gameplay today is that of humiliations or assassinations, where you can effectively just pull out some super swift maneuver going all John Wick, James Bond-like and just assassinating someone mid-match. It looks pretty cool. It looks interesting. I'm sure if I try and do it, I'm going to end up getting myself killed. I'm going to be like mid-animation and then just get shot in the back or something. But it does look cool when you do it. It's definitely like the ultimate BM to an enemy. If you're sitting there outplaying somebody, then all of a sudden you humiliate them or assassinate them, they're going to be pissed, all right? On top of that, we also have the new mounting ability, which you can activate by double tapping L1, at least on PlayStation, when you are near an object. So that's a brand new feature as well. We also have the 2-hit melee returning here in Modern Warfare. I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, getting panic knifed was easily one of the most frustrating things in the game. If you're on a streak, you turn a corner and little Jimmy over there just hits his bumper and all of a sudden you're knifed, you're dead, you're back on a 1-kill streak when you were already on like a 22, 23. You're about to get the nuke, you get panic knifed. Incredibly frustrating. In this game though, the 2-hit melee is back, so there is that. One thing I did notice though, it seems like when you melee, you hit your first shot, or like you hit your first like elbow melee, whatever you want to call it. The second one though, seems like it goes a lot faster if you try and like combine them. It's like you hit him with like a 1-2 Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I don't know if that's actually how it worked, but that is just how it appeared to me. It seems like that second hit of the melee is almost like a combo in a sense where it does activate a little bit faster. Next up, another thing I noticed while watching this gameplay is there is a lot of sway going on constantly. You guys will notice the movement doesn't necessarily look like Call of Duty in a sense. Call of Duty has always had a very iconic movement style and overall aesthetic, I guess. This game kind of goes against that. It looks a lot more like a mashup of, say, Call of Duty with a little bit of Battlefield and with a little bit of like Rainbow Six Siege. It's very interesting and it's definitely different, which personally I think is a good thing. There's always the memes and like the critiques every year that
Call of Duty is the same game every single year. I don't know why you guys buy it over and over and over again. You're buying the same game.
This year, that does not stand true whatsoever, at least from what we saw here today. The game looks very different, which I'm excited for. I'm excited for a change of pace. I think that's good. You know, change is good most of the time, so we're gonna have to see exactly how this plays out. But at the end of the day, just from watching this gameplay, it certainly feels like there's a lot of sway involved in everything. When you're running, you're going back and forth. Even when you're idling and standing still, it looks like your character is sort of interacting with the world. If there's a breeze, you know, they're adjusting themselves. You know, they're getting loose, they're getting comfortable, all sorts of things like that. It's definitely a new mechanic and an interesting one at that. There's also leaning in this game. If you guys remember back in Call of Duty Ghosts, leaning was a thing. I don't think that many people actually utilized leaning. I know it broke camera angles for quite some time. Hopefully that's not a repeat scenario here in Modern Warfare, but leaning is back. It can, I guess, be effective in certain situations, but it is very situational at that. But nonetheless, leaning is in Modern Warfare multiplayer. We also have a brand new feature in that there is variations of sprinting in this game. Like I mentioned, this game is it's very different with the overall movement. That sway really can't affect you, it seems like. And sprinting, you actually have two options now. You can do the standard sprint where you're just running at a decent speed, your gun's in your hands, you're going to be able to stop sprinting and ideally pull up your weapon and take out an enemy. However, there's also a second version of sprints in which you kind of holster your weapon off to the side a little bit and you run a lot faster. So say you're playing domination and you're really trying to get to the B flag, you might want to pull out that second sprint and run a lot quicker, but you do sacrifice some protection when you do that because your gun's not going to be as readily available when you are trying to ADS after sprinting. So that could be a pretty big difference maker in overall gameplay too. That could be something that you definitely have to take into consideration when you are playing. Do I want to double sprint in this scenario? Is it going to cost me my life if I'm not able to get my sights up fast enough? It's going to be a very tactical way of playing the game that's honestly, I think is going to change a lot. I think it's going to definitely impact the game quite a bit. Now, overall, one thing I really noticed with this game, all of those things that we just talked about taken into consideration with all the sway, the leaning, the double sprints, all that kind of stuff, this game is by far, hands down, the most realistic Call of Duty that we have ever seen to date. Visually, this game is stunning, I think. It looks really good. It looks gorgeous, in all honesty. As far as the movement goes, as far as the game flows, it's realistic. Now, this was a 2 versus 2 mode. Gunfight only has 4 players in the entire match, and even though the maps are smaller, we do have to take into consideration that there's only 4 players in the entire game, so naturally, this is going to play a lot slower than the regular multiplayer will. But just judging off of this gameplay, Call of Duty has never played this tactical, has never played this slow. But like I said, this could just be because it's a 2v2 mode. We really don't know yet. Maybe come August 1st, we're going to see how the game actually plays and if it feels more fast-paced, if it still feels tactical and slower like this. Either way, you're going to have to change your gameplay for this. I feel like in this game, you could potentially be punished for playing too aggressively. In a game like BO4, where the movement feels so predictable and so smooth, you kind of don't get punished for knowing the movement system. In this game, though, I feel like you have to play tactical, you have to play smart, you have to play a little bit more conservative if you want to do well. It is an Infinity Ward game, and naturally, IW games have always felt a little bit more clunky in a sense, I guess. Like when you go back and you play MW2, MW3, even Ghosts, when you're running around, when you jump, it doesn't feel like you are jumping, you know, 5 feet into the air like it might in, say, BO4. You're pretty confined in your overall movement, and I feel like that definitely shows here in Modern Warfare. Then finally, one last thing I did want to mention here today is that at the very, very end of the stream, they actually changed from the gunfight mode, and they were still playing the core gunfight mode, except it was a variant of the mode in which you don't necessarily spawn in with all these default and pre-built class setups. Instead, you have to actually loot items off of the map. So there were like wall buys in a sense that you didn't have to actually pay anything for them, but if you go up, you hold square, you hold X, whatever console you're on, you get the weapon off the wall, you can find things on the ground, and that is actually how you build a loadout in this variant mode, which is very interesting. There's been a lot of talk about a battle royale potentially being in Modern Warfare. There's been some leaks about it. There's obviously been plenty of rumors. We have no confirmation as of yet, but with this mechanic, you gotta think, if we're running around in multiplayer, picking things up off the wall, off the ground, all sorts of things like that, maybe the potential for a battle royale is there. Maybe it's being built. Maybe that's a shared mechanic between the two modes. For that, we are really going to have to wait and see, but it's interesting to see that there is a variant mode for gunfights in which your loadouts are not predetermined. You have to buy things off the map, or get things off the map rather, whether it be off a wall, off a floor, all things of that nature. With all that said, though, that is effectively everything that we saw today in the Modern Warfare multiplayer gameplay reveal. I don't know about you guys, but although the game is different, I'm very excited. Like I said earlier, I think change is good, especially in this case where Call of Duty can feel very repetitive. I think this is going to be fun. I am very, very eager to get my hands on it. Of course, we got to wait till October 25th. I don't think there's going to be a beta this year. Judging from the time frame we have now with an official reveal happening on August 1st, there's not a whole lot of time in between that and the actual release of the game. I'm saying more than likely, probably no beta. I'm okay with that personally. I kind of like the surprise aspect of not having a beta. But at the same time, you know, obviously, I want to get my hands on this game ASAP, right? So, it is what it is. I'm excited either way. Hopefully you guys are too. Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up. And if you are brand new here to the channel, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when I upload a new video. And once again, yeah, my G Fuel code is still 30% off. So if you guys want to get some extra savings if you're buying anything off of the G Fuel website, be sure to use code IMMORTAL at checkout. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.